भ्रष्टाचार मुक्त भाजप सरकारान मात व्हडा प्रमाणात भ्रष्टाचार चालू आसा आनी तो उक्ताडाचेर येवपाक जायना म्हूण म्हायती हक्क कायद्या सकयल अर्ज करपी मनशाक 50 रुपया एका पानाक घेवपाची अधिसुचोवणी काडल्या। आता 2 रुपयान फोटोकॉपी काडून मेळटा थंय 50 रुपया सरकारान अर्जदारा कडल्यान घेवपाचें थारायलां आसतलें हें तुमीच समजून घेयात। सरकारान काडिल्ल्या अधिसुचोवणेच्या विरोधान ट्रेजन डेमेलोन न्यायालयान याचिका घातल्या।
This is another act of the Parrikar government who is out to in fact screw the happiness of the people. Now there is a notification, there's a modification made to the rules in hiking up the charges for documents to be obtained under the RTI Act from the Revenue Department. Now what is the situation today is there are separate costs and charges levied for documents that you seek to apply from the Revenue Department. So if you make an application before the Revenue Department under the Right to Information Act, under the Right to Information Act, the rules framed for charges is 2 rupees per page. But the Revenue Department has come up with a separate notification, separate rules hiking up the charges to 50 rupees. The entire reason for this is to suppress the corruption that is taking place in the Revenue Department. Under the RTI Act, the purpose of the RTI Act, which was to expose the corruption that is taking place in the various departments, to allow RTI activists to file applications, to in fact make the charges reasonable for them so that they can get information from the government departments. The entire purpose of the act is being lost by this new notification hiking up the costs and charges for documents to be obtained under the RTI Act from the Revenue Department. Now we filed a petition in the High Court, it is a PI writ petition, 3 of 2019, challenging these rules before the High Court. The ground taken by us is that this entire classification differentiation that is made, whereby separate charges of 50 rupees per page is being levied for documents only from the Revenue Department, is an unreasonable classification. It is arbitrary. It is made with the sole purpose of deterring the members of the public RTI activists from exposing corruption in the Revenue Department. So this rules notification was challenged by the petitioner Mr. Trajano in the High Court on the ground that the classification is unreasonable and it has to be struck down. Now one of the points that the government advocate took up yesterday, who appeared on behalf of the government, was that these rules have not been framed under the RTI Act. They have been framed by the Revenue Department by a separate notification. Now the question is, when you apply for a document under the RTI Act, you have to be charged costs under the RTI Act, the rules and under the rules that have been framed under the RTI Act as far as costs are concerned. So when you apply under RTI Act today, you are charged 50 rupees only by the Revenue Department per page. As a result, today pages of around 75 pages that we obtained under the RTI Act, an RTI activist, now Mr. Trajano Demello, had to pay around 3,750 rupees. This is completely unfair, not only for the members of the public, but also for the RTI activists who are trying to expose corruption in this department. As various important public functions, these departments and these functions, and this has been time and again it has been pointed out that this department, the most amount of corruption takes place in this department, and therefore we had to move the Honorable High Court for seeking quashing of these rules, hiking up charges as far as RTI documents to 50 rupees per page.
सरकारान चालू आशिल्लो भ्रष्टाचार भायर येवपाक जायना म्हूण सरकारान काडिल्ली अधिसुचोवणी म्हायती हक्क कायद्याच्या भायर आशिल्ल्यान ती रद्द करची अशी मागणी डेमेलोन न्यायालया कडेन केल्या।
In the petition we have asked that these rules notifications should be struck down as being unconstitutional, ultra vires the provisions of the Right to Information Act 2005 and the rules framed thereunder.
माहिती हक्क कायद्या सकयल माहिती मेळोवपा खातीर केल्लो अर्जाची फी माहिती हक्क कायद्या प्रमाणच घेवपाक जाय। मात गोंयचे महसूल खात्याक माहिती हक्क कायदो लागना खंय। लोकांनी खंयच्याय कायद्या सकयल अर्ज केल्यार महसूल खात्यान काडिल्ल्या आदेशा प्रमाणच अर्जदारा कडल्यान फी घेतात अशें ट्रेजन म्हणटा। तशेंच विरोधी पक्षान सरकाराच्या ह्या निर्णया विरोधात विधानसभेच्या अधिवेशनात ह्या विशयाचेर प्रश्न विचारचो तशेंच रद्द करून घेवचो अशी मागणी ट्रेजनान केल्या।
I got a phone call to say that 75 pages, 3,770. How is that? Then they showed them the notification. Now the notification, what yesterday my law also said, he have brought out a notification saying that we have not changed the RTI, we have changed the Land Revenue Code rules. If you have changed the Land Revenue Code rules, you are from the back door trying to kill the spirit of this RTI Act. The purpose of the RTI Act was to make things transparent and that any common man could approach. Now when you charge 50 rupees per paper, per page, who is going to go for RTI? So this is a way of making transparency into opaque.